Good morning, it's Nick Collier here. It turns out that the farm implement project is coming to a close. We got a few more holes to drill, a couple more welds to make, but basically we're done, comparatively speaking at least. And this morning we're going to kind of start on a new project, and this one's for me. And what I really want to do, because I'm getting to the age where I can't really muscle things anymore like I did when I was a kid, is if you'll look up, you will see a whole series of ribs in this barn underneath that skylight. Now, I built that skylight. It's the best thing I ever did for this barn because it just keeps it fairly light in here, as you can see. But each one of those ribs I'm going to build a bracket for, so that we can come in, and let me go get the dolly. I'm going to take a 3-inch I-beam and divide 2 lengths of it, so that's 40 feet. This is 50 feet long here. So I'll be able to get almost all the way to the back here. Maybe I'll come in a little short up here in the beginning because I can get a vehicle in far enough. And then I'm going to run this dolly along that I-beam so that it will roll. And so I can pick something up, 500-600 pounds, drag it all the way to the back side of the shop, and not have to really stress myself, which I do often these days, and it's not a good idea at this age. So we're going to do that, and in order to do that, I got to build a bracket for each one of these cross pieces here. And I'm still not totally sure how I'm going to build the bracket, but I know I'm going to build it. And the first thing I've got to do is cut some angle iron. I got to cut 3-inch pieces because, of course, there's a 3-inch piece of I-beam that I'm going to attach to the top of. And so what do we got? I think the saw is going to be going for a while this morning. All right, I'll check back in with you as we get things rolling. Last night I'm thinking about this angle that I got. Oh, I actually got it at a garage sale. For a pretty good price. I think I bought about 60 or 80 feet of this. You know, I mean, this and a bunch of other steel for 60, 80 bucks. But, you know, this stuff is so good, it just would gall me to cut it up into little 3-inch sections. It's just like, what a waste. So I ended up digging around in my outer pile out here, and I came up with this piece of channel. Let me take you over to the channel. Now the problem is with this channel is that it got pretty bent up at one time. You can kind of see that arch in it. And if you look down this way, it's also tweaked that way. But this would be perfect for 3-inch sections. So we got it up this far, and I pretty much ran out of poop. So I think what I'm going to do is take the torch and go ahead and cut it in half here, and then I can handle the smaller pieces. I mean, it's going to be cut up into 3-inch sections anyhow, so who cares? All right, we've got the torch all set up. We're ready to go. It rained a few days ago, so I don't have to worry about fires, other than the fire right here on this steel. We're going to go randomly cut this in half. No big deal. All right, that's that for that. Now we'll bring those 2 pieces in one at a time, and it'll be a lot easier to handle. Okay, the long, overly extended process of cutting 20 22 of these. So lucky I got this little bandsaw to help me out. There was a day back when I was a young man when they didn't have these, that you cut it by hand or with the torch. We've got our 25 brackets cut out of this old channel that I had that was kind of bent up. So, and little 3-inch sections doesn't matter. So now we're drilling 2 holes and 2 1/2-inch holes. And I'm just really drilling one at a time here, but okay, let's just drill the second one. Down for the second hole. No problem. Now, and I'm about halfway done here. So we're looking at another half an hour or so. Okay, setting up this trolley crane, or gantry crane, we might say. I have put my first bolt in the first cross beam, and then we're going to spin around here. I'm standing on a ladder, so we're not going to be able to see it that well. And then there's the second one, and the third one is ready to have the holes drilled. I'm going to drill 2 holes and put some pretty good sized bolts in there, and then the fourth one, and continuing on all the way to the front door. Now this is going to be, I'm putting all the clips in first, and then I'm going to bring the I-beam up to the clips and weld them in place, mostly because to try to get these clips up and in a proper order, the calculations would be incredible, mostly because even though these struts are exactly at 2 feet, there can be, when you're building a building, if you're in it within a 1/4 inch, everybody's happy. So anyhow, here we go. We're up at the top of the shop. They're looking down upon all of the tools and mess. And we're going to take this to the next step. We're going to put this next clip in, and then probably the next clip, maybe 3 or 4 clips a day. That's about all I can handle. Okay, we've got our I-beam in. It came in yesterday on the truck, and it's looking pretty good. What I found out immediately was that my trolley, which is right here, was too big. And so I had to machine that down, and of course I forgot to put the camera on. But I machined it down, and let's see if I can pick that up with the camera in hand. And now it fits, and it'll roll down this thing fairly smoothly, in fact incredibly smoothly, and we're ready to make that happen. And what I've done is gone in, and I don't know if you can see it. Yes, you can. Surface ground, just got rid of the scale on each one of the segments as it connects with the roof line, with those clips in the roof. So each one of these will sit on one of those clips so that we have nice clean metal to weld to. And then once I'm up there, I'm going to build a catch for all of the sparks, because I don't want them flying all over everywhere. And then I also will preheat the metal to weld it together and to weld it to the clips. So we're waiting for some saw blades for my new saw over there back in the distance there. And once we get that, I'll cut these I-beams, and then Saturday Steve's coming over, and he and I are gonna put these things up on the ceiling and clip them into place, and then I'll come in and probably within the next week and weld each segment one at a time and get the thing all set up. All right, I'll be back. I'm not sure if you can see it that well, but yesterday we muscled up, or 2 days ago actually, we muscled these I-beams up in place, and they're sitting there. Now, it turns out that what I have to do now is I have to make sure they're fairly level and straight with one another, and then I'll be able to weld all the clips to the I-beams themselves. Now, another thing happened since we talked last, and that is that turns out the trolley, which is right here, didn't fit because the I-beam is smaller than the trolley. So I had to machine down, and I think I already talked about that. I had to machine this down from about here to there, which is what, almost a 1/4 inch. That wasn't a problem. And then once I put the trolley up to put it in place, I realized that I needed to machine this 1/4 inch off of this edge too. So last night I came in and trimmed that down so that it actually would fit. And so now I believe we're totally machined in place. I've still got one more to do here, and you know, that's not too bad. And then so today, back up to the ceiling. Today we're going to level the beams and probably weld them together and make sure that we're nice and straight and even, and then go ahead and start welding the clips. And it turns out that there's a half a dozen clips or so that are more than about a 1/4 inch away from that steel. So probably I've got to pull some clips back off, re-drill some holes, and reset the clips. But you know, hey, that's part of the process. And once that thing is in place, it'll be there for, you know, the next century. All right, well, I'll be back. What I need to do is build a platform that I can attach a pretty good sized piece of plywood to, maybe 4x4 or something like that, and drag it along the rails. I'm going to rotate up and drag it along that rail as I weld, so that all my sparks don't just fly all over the place, but that they stay fairly contained in the weld area itself. So, and the plan is to start at the far end and back in there, and then do each clip and put the platform on the trolley and just drag the trolley along as I'm working. So then, and the trolley will have the piece of plywood attached to it. Now, kind of rotate back down here, and this piece of angle is going to be going to hook to the trolley, and then I'll drill a couple of holes in it right along here so that I can attach the plywood to it, and it should be enough to kind of just hold things together for that period of time of welding. You know, we're not going to put any weight on it. We're just going to keep the sparks from flying. So we're going to drill a 1-inch hole right in the center here, and then 3 or maybe 4 smaller holes to attach the plywood to. And since this is just a temporary clip, where we locate this hole doesn't really matter, as long as I don't chew up my spacer bar there. So we'll just start this baby up and drill a couple of step holes. There's one. think what we can do is just jump right on up to a 1 inch. Well, maybe not up to a 1 inch. We'll go, I think this is 7/8. Then we'll have to go find my 1 inch because it's someplace. Yep, 7/8. Alright, well I couldn't find a 1 inch. Let's clean up some mess here. I couldn't find a 1 inch, but I did find this old beat up, oh man, this thing is in terrible shape, except it's got a good edge on it. I must have got it at a sale or garage sale or something. And it's got a step on it. So that's really what I was looking for. I have a 1 inch, but it's a Morris taper. And that will really only fit in my lathe. So we'll go with this. See how well it does in a pinch. I think it's going to do just fine. Obviously that outside edge isn't all that good a shape, but I think we can fight it through and see what we can come up with. All right, we made it. Now we'll get our other piece, the other side of this equation. And again, you know, this is just a piece of scrap metal, no big deal. Let's pull out this bit. Start with the small one. Next step. And even though that's not a real round bit, it was originally, I think, a Morris taper. It cuts fairly well, so I'm happy with it. Now we'll come back to the really crappy one that just barely cuts. But, you know, hey, a hole is a hole, and as long as you're not trying to be accurate, why not? That time it cut through pretty easily. Okay, so let's Vacuum things down. Now we kick it up on end here. How are we going to do that? Yeah, we could do it that way. Let's bring it back. Yeah, no problem. We come in with a much smaller bit because we really don't need that much grip. Well, actually, you know what? A little bit bigger wouldn't be a bad idea. And I think we should speed things up here. All right. Three fast holes. What are we bottomed out? We are bottomed out. Okay. One, and I just burnt the hell out of that bit. So I'm guessing we're not going to get any more action out of that. Oh yeah, cooked it. Okay, so the trolley, usually, I mean, it comes with this little eye bolt, kind of a double eye bolt that you can hook your chain hoist or whatever kind of hoist you're going to use into it. But we're going to get rid of this for the moment. And this will go like that. Now, let's see. What happens is a spacer goes in, and then, oh, no, spacer goes in first. First, then this, then another spacer, then this. And is that close enough? Doesn't look close enough. Well, I think it's close enough for a piece of plywood. I'm not sure it would be close enough for a you know, something heavy. But let's just set this up and see what we've got here. Run our piece of I-beam through, and it looks like we're going to run just nicely. No sweat. So we got a little rocking action here, but once I tighten everything up, I think we're going to be pretty snug and it won't be a problem. Looks pretty good. I'd say we're going to be happy there. Actually, it's tighter than I thought. Later on, that adjustment can be made. This is going to drag a little bit, but you know, in some cases that's not a bad deal, because once I move to a place, I want to be able to stay there. So take our I-beam out. This will get taken apart and put up on the ladder. So we'll talk. I'll be up on the ladder. Well, something happened last night. We got ourselves a little bit of snow. So that's exciting, because we haven't had any rain or snow or anything for most of the winter. So I'm going to get out of the rain. It's raining right now. And bring you into here. Let's see if we can set this up. Because yesterday I got started on welding the rail. And we've got that one and that one and that one and that one welded. Excuse me. And we're moving on over to, if you'll notice, there is just beyond the ladder there's a wooden platform. And that wooden platform is attached to the trolley, and it runs up and down the rail. And so what I do is slide the platform underneath the junction that I'm going to weld, so that all the sparks just kind of stay on the piece of wood itself. And so then I have my torches up there, I have the welder up there, I have pretty much everything I need up there. And once I'm in place, I just start welding. Maybe we'll go up above and go ahead and crank up one of them. I'm not sure you can see this, but my little welder is about 10 feet in the air. Let's see, can we see it? No, we can't. Okay, so we're gonna swing around to it, and you can see it's kind of swinging in the breeze right there. And that's the only way I can get the cables long enough to get up to the place where I'm going to weld. So we'll go ahead and set that up. And hey, let's just weld one. Turn the tanks on. We're going to do just a little bit of preheat. Because this metal is freezing cold. Now I know you're probably only seeing my ass right now, but trust me, I am preheating the metal. And because my welding equipment is a little over 45 years old, and even though I had my gauges rebuilt last summer, the damn thing still leaks a little bit, so I always turn off my tanks whenever I'm not using them.